The remove of punishment is that there is a choice here and there's a choice here. So punishment is, I'm happening to you. You had no choice. I am taking away all opportunity and I am controlling and dictating everything that happens.
Punishment is an external attempt to control someone through suffering. There's none of that going on in your house. There is an internal empowerment to decide between choices.
I'm not taking ownership of their problem. This is their problem. But if they don't want to solve it, there's nothing we can do with this. So I have to be patient enough to ask questions to see if that's what you want to work on. And if you don't want to work on it, I have to be okay with walking away with going, there's still a nail in your forehead. Hello and welcome to the KYLO Show. We're coming to you live.
We're rolling live.
We are.
Yep.
We've got lots of fun questions.
We're loving
in the
it.
moment.
So bring us your questions. We love them.
Please do. Well, let's jump into this first one we've got today.
Perfect.
Hi, Leah. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Doing great. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, thanks so much for being on the KYLO Show. And we heard you had a question. So I would love to hear what your question is so we can help you.
Oh, great. I would love to ask that question.
Perfect.
So we have talked previously in a previous episode about punishment. And as a parent of 6, I would really love to hear both of your opinion on this, because sometimes I feel like I get it. And then sometimes I feel like I'm not getting this. So we're taking the idea of being unpunishable and the idea of some of the tools that you've given us for controlling ourselves, right, in the midst of all the storm. And when my kids have called me out on this, and I just wanted your opinion on this. So here's the real life example. When cleaning comes up in our house, that's when the demons come out. And I feel like the tool that you have given us in Perfect Parenting that was really great was the idea of, oh, no problem. Like, you didn't do your thing. No problem. It needs to get done. I'll do it. Now you owe me, right? So I did your thing. Now you owe me my thing because you took my time. So I do that and I'm like, your choice is toilets or laundry. And my kids look at me and they say, well, that sounds a lot like punishment. You're punishing us. There's always a string attached to you doing things. And so they'll constantly ask, like, well, what's the string? What are you doing? I'm like, well, you were supposed to do your work, right? So I'd like to hear your opinion on, like, are we actually calling natural consequences just a different name and it really is punishment? Because I'm the one who's saying what you have to do. Even though you have a choice, you get my decision on what choices are. Or is there a way that I can explain this to them that sounds like, no, it's not punishment. It's natural consequences that I choose. How would you speak into that? Especially to, I don't know, a 12-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Yes. It sounds like there's smart kids that are like, I don't like this game that we're playing when you say no problem at all. And I want out of this. Just to clarify, when we say no problem, I'm guessing you said somewhat beforehand or maybe given a bit more explanation to the older ones that want it. No problem means that it's not a problem for me to do it, but it may be a problem for you later on because you'll be trading me chores. Have they gotten that description, I would imagine?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So as long as you realize that this is kind of the way of contributing as our family, like we do things together as a family. We don't have freeloaders. I mean, you could say, they come up to you and go, I'm hungry. And you say, or they say, no problem. I mean, you could get away with not making dinner and they'd probably figure out that it's punishment, that they're experiencing. But really, we're teaching that we're contributing to this, which is it sounds like the demons come out at cleanup time, as you said. Mm-hmm. And so no problem is not a problem for me, possible problem coming for you, which is I'm going to trade chores with you. And so the remove of punishment is that there is a choice here and there's a choice here. So punishment is I'm happening to you. You had no choice. I am taking away all opportunity and I am controlling and dictating everything that happens, which it doesn't sound like that's what you're doing unless I'm misunderstanding.
No, what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, no problem. By the way, I did this for you. So now do you want to do toilets or do you want to do laundry?
Yeah. And they would say that feels like punishment. I'm so sorry that that feels like punishment. I haven't told you you have to do anything. Those are the two choices that you have because they don't have to do the toilets and they don't have to do the laundry. But what happens if they don't do that? Well, feel free to have your book time, your TV time, your whatever time as soon as that's done because we're contributing as a family and you didn't want to do your chore, which is totally cool. I did it. And the other option is these two. So this is empowerment, empowerment, empowerment all the way around. And what I do control as a parent is permission, opportunity, and resources. It's not punishment to control those things. Those are things that I'm in charge of. I get to give them away. They are things that you have access to because I pay my utility bill, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's the opportunity of empowerment and choice. And I'm not happening at you. I am not making this choice for you. This is that opportunity of we're sharing control and you made your decision into this moment.
Mm-hmm. So my question then is, if I can go a little bit farther. So we're having this dialogue, my 12-year-old, and let's say that she is like a little strong-willed. Okay.
Sure.
And I'm making this decision. I'm saying this. And she's like, well, whatever you say, you're right. Right. She feels backed into a corner because she knows she's wrong. And so then it's like, well, you're just trying to prove that you're right. And then if I just say, well, I am right, is that going to, like, is there another way to go around that? Like, how would you, because I feel like that's the response. Because I've tried to explain, like, this isn't punishment. This is just, these are the choices that we're living in. You made this choice. These are consequences. This is how we run the house. Like, but then it just turns into this, like, well, you're just trying to prove that I'm wrong. And that's what all you want to do, Mom.
That Leah, that was going to be my point, was that I think your kids picked up somewhere in the air that you're afraid of the word punishment.
Mm.
And so they use it as a power struggle with you. And so it's turned into you defending yourself while you are disciplining, leading, a standard bearer, the most responsible person in the house. They are power struggling with you by saying punishment. You're punishing me. When you're like, no, I'm not. And now they're like, prove it then. Prove that you're not punishing us. Like, why are you having to prove that you're not punishing your children when you know you are disciplining your children, you're empowering them, you're offering them choices? Punishment is an external attempt to control someone through suffering. Mm-hmm. There's none of that going on in your house. There is an internal empowerment to decide between choices. So if your gas light comes on in your car, you know, like, and you decide to put some black tape over it, and you run out of gas on the side of the road, are you being punished? No. That's just what happens when you do stupid things. Now you're walking and it's 105 degrees in August and you're sweating and you only had one flip-flop, so your foot is burning. Is that punishment? No, it's what you get for driving with one flip-flop and ignoring your warning. You had a warning. And you decided to ignore it all. And now you're having a miserable time. Who's punishing you?
Right.
No one. No one's punishing you, but you are very uncomfortable in the consequences of your poor choices.
So if I hold up that mirror, like you just did, you know, like with an allegory maybe, and that would help, Or would that be too Yoda-esque, you think, for a 12-year-old to grasp?
Well, if they're power struggling with you, nothing's going to work except I know probably so. That could be, I don't know, nice try.
Right. And I think that's
Okay.
that's the part that you're probably going to have to clue on to is if this is just the power struggle and they're using this word, or let's replace it instead of punishment, go, you don't love me.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if you were to just change the word from punishment to you don't love me, if you love me, you wouldn't make me do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, of course I love you. You're being ridiculous right now. I'm not even doubting if I love you. But the punishment part, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I did all. Did I check all the boxes? I think I did it. And so then I'm like nervous. So change the word. Because I think it is a power struggle more than you're being a punisher, especially if you're doing all these things beforehand where you're empowering. And, the Bible clearly tells us to train up the child in the way they should go, and that discipline is good. And so this is part of training up and discipline and being a leader is there are consequences to your poor decisions. And I didn't make that decision. And so how else are you going to learn unless it's in the safety of your home where you are so empowered and forgiven and loved and nurtured in this development stage? So see it as not punishment is the word that feels scary because that's the last thing that we want our kids to believe. Change it out for a word of, you don't love me and see if you adjusted to that would be sad if that were true, that I was using punishment to get you to do what you decided not to do. And this is what your choices are now. That would be sad. Let me know when you've chosen and what you've got. Just don't engage in the power struggle and see what happens there.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for calling. And I really appreciate you going in there and doing it.
Yep.
I mean, you're the front lines.
Yep.
You're doing it.
6 kids. Come on, girl.
Right? It's worth it.
It is.
So thank you guys for your dual partnership in this. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Leah. See you later.
Bye.
I think parents are just that punishment word that, there's certain words. Everybody's are different. I mean, we all have our little trigger moments where we're like, am I doing that thing? Am I not doing that thing?
I think it's our, in particular, it's our audience, the people that are really trying to do a good job with sharing the control and protecting the connection. Yeah. And so when somebody throws out the P word, it's a P bomb. We don't have an F bomb. We have a P bomb though. And these kids get a whiff of that. It's just like, yeah, I can get you to backpedal and question your tactics here.
Your moral character. Watch me just dwindle you down.
Yeah. Cause you seem to be in control of yourself. Let me see if I can get you to move with this, pushing this red button.
Yes, it definitely is a just different red button.
Yeah.
And recognizing when there is a power struggle going on and not being afraid to like, oh, we're going to put a halt to this. Mm-hmm. And it looks different. I mean, every kid has a different tactic. That's why they're geniuses. That's why they're so smart.
That's it.
That's why they're always paying attention, going back and forth. Like, I mean, Lincoln, I just laugh. He will ask me, I've noticed, if he could have device time when I feel like I heard something earlier on in the day, but he'll come and say like, Mom wasn't really part of that conversation. Let me just see if I can work her with a little extra cuddle. Yeah. And then I'm like, did you ask your dad? And he's like, yes. I'm like, oh, these kids are smart. They are playing to their hand always.
Humans.
Yeah.
Yes, humans.
Kids are just where we, I don't know, we talk about it the most.
Yeah, well, it's where you get busted the most is as a kid.
I guess
you get away with it more when you're an adult.
Yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, recognizing those power struggles and then what to do in that power struggle, I think, is the next key. And being able to, I'm not going to participate in this because this engaging in a power struggle is usually the quickest way to participate in disrespect. Mm-hmm. Or you get into this lecturing mode, especially if you got a really smart, intelligent kid that is good at the debating. They're like, how many times can we volley back and forth before someone interrupts and puts some disrespect, and it's reciprocated back. And so then they're like, oh,
Yeah, this is like having a judgment contest with your spouse in communication. Like, I'll tell you about you, you tell me about me. Let's see how long we can do this before we blow up our connection.
Yeah, that always goes really well.
And so power struggle is the same thing. Like when you power struggle with your kid, it's just, let's see how far we can go before we blow up our connection. So just poof, as soon as you smell it, I'm out. I'm out of this power struggle. Probably so. I don't know. Nice try. I'm out. I'm not going to power struggle with you. I let you know. You decide or I'll decide.
Yeah. And I'm not against actually explaining or having a conversation around what's happening. That's not what we're talking about here.
No.
That's a different moment.
Yeah.
That is not in this moment, because there's no logical thinking right here. It is all selfish gain. I want to win this. It's a power struggle. There's
I don't
a different
want
agenda.
you to lead right now.
No.
Yeah.
So it's not we can have a conversation. We can talk about what is going on and why I'm leading you in this. But people often think right there, this is a great time to start a lecture. You know what? I've been thinking about
Nobody's listening. Let me talk a lot.
Let me talk so much. And it's going to be so great. And nobody listens the whole time. And then I'm frustrated at you. And that's where disrespect starts flying out, because why didn't you listen to all the good things I said? Yeah, don't do that right there. Okay. Don't do that. You should do it later on, especially when everyone's kind of cooled down to, hey, that exchange earlier was a little bit rough. You seem pretty frustrated. I realized we may have gotten a little disconnected. I wanted to know if you wanted to talk about even some of your frustrations, making space for them to feel heard and seen and understand, but we don't do disrespect.
And maybe you have a mess to clean up. Maybe you did participate too long, and you did cross that line of respect, and you're like, you know what? I have a mess to clean up. I'm sorry I said what I said. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have stayed in that conversation as long as I did, because I knew what was going to happen would happen, and it did happen.
Yeah.
And that was me.
It's almost predictable.
It wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have participated, and I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing to pay attention is reconnecting, seeing if you've got a mess, and but recognizing and mamboing out of a power struggle with these tools, that's your best bet to lean into first. For sure. So that is the goal. But I think lots of people have this question as far as the difference between discipline and punishment, and it making sure we're doing the right thing. And it for me, it's such a heart thing. And so knowing your heart and then being honest with what's going on inside of your heart when you're having these conversations.
Yeah. It's as simple as, where's the control?
Yeah.
Is the control on the outside of them? Then it's probably punishment. Is the control on the inside of them? Then it's discipline.
Yeah. That's good measuring tool for sure. I love it.
Which kind of leads into our...
You should take it away. You lead sponsor. This sponsor.
Our sponsor. This is some cool stuff here. This coffee company, Pro-Life Coffee Roasters, is pro-family, really, in every sense of the word. They are supporting the community in the Ethiopian Valley there that is famous for their coffee. They've become synonymous with the Napa Valley for growing great vineyards for winemaking. These are the coffee makers, and these guys have close personal relationships with the communities there, and they don't have a middle guy. They're not like losing quality through some middleman where you lose track of what's happening. They are invested in the community, the relationships, the coffee roasting, the training, the economics, and they're moving the product to the market, and they're involved the whole way. So all that's going on while they sew back into pro-family
organizations,
charities, that are, and that's that's what leads them to our partnership. So
Mhm.
besides that, I just love,
It's true.
I just love smelling it at this point. I mean, tasting it's a whole nother level.
In
But
between filmings, I did get a message from Mariah that's over at Pro Life Coffee Roasters, and she's like, "Is your dad getting the right blend that he likes? Because it sounds like he really likes the dark roast." So they're trying to take care of you as well and
I
make sure
know
that you get
espresso.
what it is that
I
you
tell
love.
you what, I know everybody
And
likes the.
I like the medium roast, but everybody's different. So
I just love that linger.
you do.
I love my sinuses to smell like coffee.
Kind of.
It's just so good.
Yep. Mhm. All right. Well, prolifecoffeeroasters.com/KYLO will get you a little bit of a discount, and they will be giving those proceeds on to great organizations. But we're going to take another question.
Let's do it.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Brittany? How are you, Danny?
I'm doing good.
We are doing good. So we heard that you have a question for us, and we would love to dive in and hear what it is.
Sure. So I was hoping to get some wisdom from you guys on a specific situation I'm dealing with in my extended family, like nieces and nephews that I grew up with as siblings. So I've reached out to them in an effort to stay connected after a conflict that we had. And I asked them not to talk to me about people in our family in a way that was basically accusing them. So they're manipulating, they're doing this. And I've asked them not to do that, but I'm happy to hear how they feel about what's happening, like how they're feeling. And their response to me was that they wouldn't share their thoughts and feelings. You know, they just shut down and said, no, I think it's best that we don't share that with you. So I'm wondering, how do I continue to pursue connection when the other person doesn't seem to want to stay connected? And is it okay to kind of let this relationship go with an open door until they want to talk? And what does that really look like in real life? Like, how do I actively walk that out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Question. Did they say they don't want any kind of relationship with you anymore, or they just, it sounded like they just don't want to talk to you about that situation?
I have one that said they don't want to have any relationship, anything to do with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is in the other camp of we just won't talk to you about this side of the family.
Okay.
And what's the problem with that?
Well, I guess there is no problem. It just feels to me like they kind of just shut the door on sharing their feelings, because that was their wording to me of, I won't talk to you about this at all. Like about how I'm feeling about it at all. Like this just won't be a topic of conversation for us. And so I guess it's okay for that to be not a thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing because they probably aren't real comfortable talking about their feelings, and they're probably not wanting to accept any responsibility in the relationship and blaming something on somebody else. They want a bad guy. They want a victim. And you saying, I'm not going to participate in that kind of points it out. Like, oh, whoa, we're busted. And so I don't like feeling accountable. So I don't want you in my life. And like, awesome. I don't want to be in your life if you don't want to be accountable in conversation and relationship, because that's a scary person. Because pretty soon I'll be the topic of your bad guy conversation, as I am right now, as I will be moving forward. I'll be the bad guy for you. And then the other situation where they're like, well, we just won't talk to you about this anymore. You go, fantastic, because I don't want to hear about it. So is there any other relationship that you have with the folks that do want relationship outside of talking about other family members?
Yeah, I do have one like relationship with the nephew and his wife. Like I called them earlier just to let them know, like, hey, door's open. How are you? What's happening in your life? Like I still love you. I still want to talk to you. I still want to be involved with your life at whatever level you would like. So yeah, there's relationship there.
That's the one I would invest in. Sounds like it's going to be fruitful for you and something you enjoy. But unless you don't have enough problems in your life, then cultivate relationships that are no fun. But most of us are pretty full up on stress and things that we don't control, that we don't need to go places to drain us. So I would cultivate every relationship that you enjoy, and I would prune back every one that you don't.
Yeah, this one, the relationship that I'm still kind of in, it shifted. We were super close, and it was difficult to have them move to an outer circle. Because it became unsafe a little bit. We differ on some things. And so not just because we differ, but on some major things. And so that is the one where I still kind of have a toe in the connection, trying to stay connected, but it's strained still.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we can't shift off of what we disagree with and onto what we can enjoy together, then it becomes overall just a very unenjoyable experience. And that's not uncommon, especially these days when there's just so much division going on out there that people, they major in the disagreement and they can't major in the relationship and the connection. And that's unfortunate. But if you can find somebody that is willing to major in the love and not in the issue, go for it.
Yeah. Thank you for that advice. That changes the perspective. Like, pursue the relationships that I am enjoying and can connect in. So thank you.
Yeah. And I would say, like, if you end up at dinner at, your nephew's house and they start talking about family members, I mean, I don't know that you need to stand up and make a big deal of, I will not participate of this. They already know your opinion on this. So you just don't engage in that conversation, or you go, I'm going to start cleaning up the kitchen, or I'm going to go play outside with the kids. Like, there's so many things that you can do that are respectful, that dismiss you and get you out of the room when that's starting, so that you don't like rip off all the things that we're starting to heal. So just keep that in mind when you are there, is that they don't need you to remind them. They're probably pretty clear. Unless they corner you and say, I want to talk about this. You can just go, well, I'd love to talk about how you're experiencing this and what you need, because I want to help you. I can't control them. You only can control you. So if I can add strength to your side of this, I'd love to. I mean, that's if they're cornering you, asking you specifically. Otherwise, I would just be like, I'm going to clean up the kitchen. I'm going to do something, So I just find ways to nurture the relationship and don't feel the need to be on a righteous warpath of, I said this is the standard. That won't get you anywhere for sure. And I'm sure you already know that. But sometimes we think that, I don't know, they forgot that we had this big disagreement. They didn't. They probably didn't. So you don't need to tell them again. Unless you're cornered, then you can tell. But
thank you. That's a very good practical picture. Like, I can totally do that.
And Tiffany, I would just add one thing here, that in the future conversations where you're finding yourself with somebody that is upset with somebody, wanting to talk about them, and another way to get at the feelings is to say, you sound hurt. Mm-hmm. You sound like you're feeling powerless. Are you scared of something? And just you identify the feeling, you bring it to the surface and see if they look at you like, I never really thought of it like that. I just thought I was angry. And then see if they want to explore it once you helped identify it. But a lot of folks are scared of being vulnerable and being seen. And so it becomes almost a safe place for them to shift the attention to somebody else, to a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And then everybody rushes in and comforts them as a victim. And that's a pattern of relationships for them. But if you were to say, are you scared? Are you hurt? that will shift them into, oh, wait a minute, this is about me. It's not about them. Yeah, right. So what do you need? What do you need to feel? And they go, I need to feel protected from the way they judge everyone and then talk about them. You're like, don't laugh right there. Don't laugh right there. And don't point out the obvious. But say, okay, well, how do you think it would go if you talked to them? Oh, I could never do that. Oh, okay. All right. And now you've kind of satisfied that thing that you needed, which was some responsibility and accountability in the conversation and not just blame shifting and act like a victim.
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you for those practical questions.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for your question. Thanks for calling in. We love it.
Yeah. So appreciate it,
Thank you.
Tiffany. Well, you have a great day, and thanks for listening to the KYLO Show.
You too. Thank you.
Bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So many family relationship questions we get, man, about like this type of thing where there is hurt or they're searching for somebody to be the bad guy. And even the feeling hopeless and powerless to, I've been kind of cut off from this relationship when I have the best intentions and I want to bring health and connection. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's changed now. I think there's even some, some grief, and I love what we had, but I didn't love this part of it, but I love the connected piece of feeling known. And because I require something, now there's I don't want that. I want it how it was before, which was, it was stinky.
Mm-hmm.
We had a stinky relationship and everybody was stinky in here. It was fine. And now you aren't so stinky and you don't like our stinky. It was just hard. But I mean, I think she's got the right heart and right approach to, protecting the little bit of relationship she has with the other cousin or nephew. And the other one, my guess is that they'll probably come around once they realize that she's not trying to control anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And she really is after connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so hard for us to see, maybe especially in family. I'm not sure, but we are trying to solve a problem somebody doesn't have.
Yeah.
And it's met with offense, and you're just so much more reactive in a relationship where you're really comfortable. And that's why marriage conversations just go to the moon in a heartbeat, because you're like, wow, I can bring out the worst me for some reason. Like you would never do that with a police officer, but you would do it with your spouse
or your boss.
Yeah. It just feels like there's just nothing to lose or something, or I've been at least this bad before. But the swing and the miss that happens so commonly in a family dynamic is, I just know that if you see what I'm trying to tell you, you're going to thank me, and instead of approaching it like a question, like, I wonder if, or could you help me understand? Or, is this what's going on? Instead of coming in like that, it's like, brace yourself.
Uh-huh.
I'm about to tell you some truth.
Some revelation
set you free,
that you
baby.
didn't know you needed. It's coming your way. Let me just give it to you.
And I can't believe how offended
you're not receiving this wisdom. And what is that video you used to show all the time about the nail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about the nail.
It's not about the nail. I mean, all my sweaters are saying it's a nail in her forehead. Yeah. And she's like, I have this pounding headache. It's just splitting.
I still know. I don't know what it is.
And I snag all my sweaters. She's like, well, honey, I think it's the nail. It's not the nail. Yeah.
You always do this. You always try to fix things. Like, what you need to do is just listen. Like, I don't think that is what you need.
Okay.
How many times have I seen that video?
I mean, so many times. Yeah. But that's exactly it, is pointing out, here's your problem. Mm-hmm. Here's how you fix it. You need to do this. And if you do this, it'll be all better. Like, I didn't ask any of those. I don't have a problem. Why are you talking to me like that?
How dare you try to help me?
Judging me.
Yeah.
And then I'm shocked when they won't take my fantastic advice.
Yeah. This is why questions just set you up for success. If I'll just humble myself and act like I don't know the answer, but you actually do. So you ask questions that would lead to this answer. Like, where's the Easter egg? Where is it? Is it getting warmer? Is it above you or below you? I'm just trying to help.
It takes patience to ask questions, though, especially when you feel confident that you know the answer. And so your ability to realize that I'm not taking ownership of their problem. This is their problem. But if they don't want to solve it, there's nothing we can do with this. So I have to be patient enough to ask questions to see if that's what you want to work on. And if you don't want to work on it, I have to be okay with walking away with going, there's still a nail in your forehead. And it's going to be okay. I can still hug you, even though you've got a nail in your forehead. Just gets a little tricky. But I can still pursue this relationship. But that's the hard part, is when we learn these tools, it's, I don't know, it's, we want to just
and I don't know
give it
why
away.
Family is just so reactive, but can be. Doesn't have to be. And some people are getting much better at it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Tiffany's definitely, I think, got a little bit of revelation and some practical adjustments for us. She's
going to do good.
Gathering. She's going to avoid that nail like a pro.
Yep.
So should be good. I love it. That was a good question. Thanks for listening to The KYLO Show. To submit a question, go to thekyloshow.com. Never miss an episode by subscribing to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the Loving on Purpose YouTube channel.
And don't forget, whole healthy families are going to save the world. See you next time.